time is 8:40 and you're in, well, nobody's in that group, but you're in Hampton. What do you do at 8:40?
Get a quiet.
Thank you. You don't raise your hand and tell me anything because I'm going to be teaching math. You just go and listen to my show. I think she said she has to come get y'all, so she probably will go. But what happens when she's at the door and Hampton gets back and you're in fifth? All right. Yes, John. Find a pad. Finish in the morning, like, why no math this far? Sorry. How are you? I said stop, not who. What do I do when I finish my work? What do I do with my work when I finish my work? Check it. What do I do after I've checked it? And I'm really confident and turn it in. You put your name on it first. What do I do after I'm finished with my work, right? Like I'm finished, I checked it, I'm confident that if I turn this in, I will get an A. What do I do with my work? Leave it on top of your desk, right? I don't put it inside of my desk, which is probably kind of messy. And my work is going to be crumpled and disgusting. And then my teacher's going to look at me like I'm crazy when I try to give it to them. All right, if you're in the center, pass your more work up so that I can collect it from Gio. So you can pass yours over to Nicole, she can pass it up. And Jalen, and then I'll come around and come to take out your math book and get out the scratch paper that you had from yesterday. Do you have a pencil? Did I ever give you one? Go. Raise your hand if you only have a pen and you need a pencil. All right. You don't remember. That's what I was just about to say. You don't know. My what? Open to page 332. That's where everybody needs to be. Yes.
Beer.
Excuse me, no, okay.
332.
What?
Can you shut the time?
All right. So today what we're going to practice is way simpler than you think. But what we're going to practice is writing fractions as division problems. Is everybody focused? Do we need to stretch? Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up, stand up. Everybody stand up. Stand here. Stand up. Stand up.
My waist hurt. Guess what?
And I want you to take 30 seconds and stretch it out, or shake it out, or stretch it, or whatever you need to do.
Can I take it this way?
No. All right, move to the wrong place, but I need for you to participate. Because you don't have to do like you
Can I take it this way?
No. Come on, Aaron. Get your pencil, your book, and your sketch paper. Then hurry. All right, 2 more seconds to stretch, shake it out, whatever you need to do so that you are with me. All right, have a seat. And like we do before we start any math lessons, we're going to read our definitions. So Nicole, turn to page 333, I'm sorry. 332, I apologize. 332, that's what we need.
Can everybody see?
Have a seat. I'm going to come up and put your bag in the bag. Alright, so like I said, today we are going to learn how to write fractions as division problems. How many of y'all think that sounds really hard and complicated and you're not going to know what you're doing? We're going to learn how to write fractions as division problems. Okay. The first thing we need to do is read our definition. So Nicole, are you here? Read the definition of fraction, please. It's on page 333.
A fraction is a number that names equal parts of a whole or parts of a set. A fraction represents division, so if 1 cup of cat food is divided in 3 equal parts, each cat gets 1/3 cup of food.
Alright, so if it's telling us in the definition of fraction in that small paragraph that Nicole just read, it's telling us that the cat gets 1/3 cup of food, then 1/3 is our fraction, but it's also our division problem. So 1/3, right? Does everybody agree that that's 1/3? Okay, so my question is that a fraction or a division problem? It's not a division problem? See, I just said it's a division problem. Everybody else said it's a fraction. But everybody's right. It's a fraction and a division problem. Does that make sense? But the only time that you have to do anything else to this problem, the only time you have to solve or do anything to this problem is if you have an improper fraction. And remember, an improper fraction is when you're, well, let's read it. but when your numerator is larger than your denominator. Thank you, Dewan. So Dewan, read the definition of numerator for us.
Numerator or the top number in the fraction is the number of fractions.
So the numerator is the which number in the fraction? The top, absolutely. So Sarah, can you tell us which number in the fraction our denominator is based on the definition on page 333? Mm-hmm. No, like, can you read the definition from page 333? I'm sorry.
The denominator or the bottom number in a fraction represents the number of parts in the whole.
Right. So numerator's top, denominator's bottom. The only time that you have to do anything else to your fraction or your division problem is when you have an improper fraction. And Dewan, what's an improper fraction? Absolutely. So now we're going to go back to page 332, and as a class together, we're going to solve 7 through 13. I'm going to do the first 3 for you guys, but remember, what do you do when I'm writing on the board? You write everything that I write on the board on your scratch paper, right? Okay, and then you'll have some time to do 10 through 12 on your own. If you just came in from working with Mrs. Amanda, take your math book out, open it to page 332, and take out your scratch paper from yesterday. Take out your math. All right, so the first problem we had is 15 divided by 2. So our first problem is 15 divided by 2, right? Does this look like we can solve this the way that it's written? So what do we have to do? Like a what? No. I mean vertically, yes, like a fraction. Thank you, Ayana. We have to write it like a fraction. So now we have 15 over 2. What kind of fraction is this? The one told us earlier. It's an improper fraction. So now what do we have to do? If this is an improper fraction and it's also a division problem, what do we have to do? We kind of started going over this. It just didn't sound like this. What we have to do is divide 2 into 15 as many times as we can, okay? So I know that 2 goes into 15 7 times, right? Everybody should be writing like Ciasia and Jalen and Gio and Sarah and Sincere. Everybody should be writing when I'm writing on the board. We're on number 7 on page 232. Write what I've written so far while I get Kanaya a pencil. All right. 2 goes into 15 7 times. It does not go into 15 evenly 7 times, so I have a remainder, right? My remainder is 1. And now I'm keeping my denominator. My denominator stayed the same. That's where I got my 2 from. Does everybody understand where I got all of the numbers that you see on the board from?
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Which one? Nicole? So if I was to divide this using long division, which is what we've been doing, which probably looks really familiar, right? 2 goes into 15 7 times. I multiply these numbers to get 14. I subtract to get 1. So you see, here's my 7, here's my 1, and here's my 2. Does that make more sense? All right. So now I'm going to do number 8. You're going to write it down with me. And in just a second, you'll do 10 through 12 on your own. So we have 22 divided by 4. This looks complicated. I don't want it to look like that. So I write it as an improper fraction. And I know 4 goes into 20 5 times. But it does not go into 22 evenly at all. So I have a remainder of 2 over 4. Now, in this problem, the fraction portion can be reduced. Absolutely, Nicole. So I have to figure out what's the largest number I can evenly divide both of these by. 2 is that number. So 2 divided by 2, 4 divided by 2, 1. Yeah, absolutely. So my answer is 5.5. Okay, I lost something out. So if I do this as a division problem, 4 divided by 22, this is wrong division, right? This looks very familiar to you. Raise your hand if this problem right here looks familiar to you. Absolutely, it does, because we've been working on it. But 4 goes into 22 5 times. It does not go into 22 evenly at all, right? Right. So I have to multiply them together. 4 times 5 gives me 20. Subtract to get 2. So not yet, right? Is it 840? No, 840. So see, I just because I lost something out. Here's my 5, which is my whole number, right? Here's my 2, which was my remainder. And then the 4, which is my denominator, right? That doesn't change because that's my denominator over here. It has to be my denominator over here. Well, remember how we've been reducing our fractions or making them as small as we can? This can be reduced, right? Because both of these can be evenly divided by 2. So